Oh, hello, you've caught us playing Diablo 3. My name's John, I work for OXM magazine. I'm with...
Aoife.
Who also works for OXM magazine.
I do.
And I'm Edwin, and you'll be surprised to hear that I work for OXM too.
What a merry tribe we are in this adventurous world of Diablo.
There's a rotting log in there, log. Is that you?
No, I'm the one that just split it up in the hope that there might be some gold or a new set of pauldrons.
Kind of a form of self-hatred of you beating up logs.
But log, tell us, what is Diablo 3?
Diablo 3 is a game where you take the role of a fantasy character and basically kill everything you encounter again and again until you are so strong it's fascinating.
Wait a second, wait, but I hear that there's some sort of personal computer version of this game, log. Is that the case?
It's a PC classic. Diablo 2 was a game that I sank many hours into the year 2000, I believe. Sank too many futile hours into it. Futile hours that I enjoyed, but I will not pretend that I'm any better a person today because of the time I spent playing it.
Okay. Well, obviously you've learnt your lesson because you're now playing the console version.
And I'm going to lose months to it. I've already played Diablo 3 a lot on the PC, but I'm really actually preferring the console version. And
and we've just seen one of the new additions to the console version.
The dodge roll. Suck the dodge roll, PC gamers. I'm not a partisan person, I'm not a fanboy, but eat my dodge roll!
Yes, I mean, yeah, it does look like it benefits from being in real time. I mean, I've not played any of Diablo 3 on the PC, but I like it being a hack and slasher, which has, kind of one-to-one button and attack.
Absolutely. There's something quite hypnotic about, in a bad way, the PC game where you just find yourself clicking on things.
Just clicking, and not really thinking about what you're doing all that much.
The direct control with the left thumbstick and all the powers mapped to the face buttons and the right bumper and trigger, it just feels a little bit more engaging.
I thought I'd kind of be a little bit more, because I've played this on the PC quite a lot. I felt like I'd feel a little more uncomfortable with the controller, but actually it's really, really quite nice. It feels very comfortable.
It certainly looks. I mean, I'm impressed that they've got so much of the PC's sort of skills and powers and all that kind of crammed into onto the pad and obviously onto the screen. Yeah. I mean, I did find it. I mean, I'm not playing at this point. I do play in another video. Spoilers. But
speaking of which, yes, hello. This is the menu. You're saying that how much they've mapped everything on from the PC version. All the skills are there. I say that I've just had a look through the menus, just on the one class that I played properly on the PC. I was more of a wizard person, and everything was there. All the passive skills, all the primary, secondary skills,
all the runes as well.
Oh god, all the runes that make it so complicated.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this game, is like every level you get up, you unlock about 3 more skills. You unlock a new skill, you'll unlock a new rune that transforms a skill, passive skills, and like every level you go up, it's encouraging you to try out a new way of playing that character. It
makes something that looks quite simple on the surface actually quite tactical when you get down to it. I mean, there's tons of different ways to play each class as well. Because for this you're the demon hunter and I'm the monk here, so there's a good balance of your dual wielding crossbows from afar, and I'm sort of up close kicking demon ass.
Yeah, that's.
She's noted for that. I mean, that's the complete ignoramus here. I mean, can I ask? Do you kind of like acclimatise to the fact that there's so much going on in terms of powers and abilities and things? I mean, like when I was playing, I just couldn't work out whose spells were whose.
Well, that's the problem with this demo. You start off at a level 34 or so you've got what you would have taken you about 20 or 30 hours to build up.
And it looks a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like when you're given a demo of an MMO and they drop you with a top level character, and that's hundreds of hours you just haven't got.
And I suppose the flip side of that question then would be, when you start the game, is it the case that you're hitting rats with a stick for about 3 hours, or is it kind of a bit more?
Well, you start off with just your primary attack, and that's that's generally depending on each class what their resource is. Like if you're the barbarian, your regular attack will build rage, and but you don't really unlock the secondary and extra skills that use rage until you're at level 4, 5 or 6.
I think one of the nice things about Diablo 3 is though that even the low level spells and attacks, they do look quite impressive, and they actually feel quite satisfying on the Xbox 360 to play with as well. When there was 4 of us on screen, which is in another video, I mean it's horrendously confusing, but it certainly looks pretty.
It's visually stunning. I'm sure that's probably a bullet point on their press release. But you're right, that because the Xbox version is slightly more zoomed in than the PC version, the 4-player is probably a little bit too intense.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 players is probably where you'll want to end up settling.
4, it's just very hard to pick out where you are and where your spells are being directed.
Yeah, and I find myself controlling someone else and thinking I'm doing well, then just realising that I'm up in the top corner of the screen attacking nothing.
A bush or something.
Yeah, that was my experience of it. I mean, it looks like you could kind of. I mean, again, this may be the effect of this being a really high-level demo. But like, is it the case that actually, even if it is confusing for 4 players, you could still play it very kind of like, dare I say, casually? And just have some people over when you're drunk, and not have people going, oh my god, you didn't heal me in the right time. There are fractions of a second matter.
Are there healing classes so much? There's not so much of the kind of priest role in this.
You kind of just, you see those little red things there on the screen, those are kind of just health potions, and you just pick those up. They're drops from enemies, so I think healing kind of takes care.
Did they heal the whole party as well? I'm because it's been a while since I played Diablo 3 on PC.
I don't think so.
Looting
is different, is it not?
Looting. In what way is it different? What are you goading me to say? What do you want me to say?
The loot is not instanced in Diablo 3, is it? It's kind of a free for all.
If everything that drops is first come first served, or by which I mean finders keepers. If you go into someone else's game and an orange legendary sword of tits drops,
steady on.
And if you grab it, it's yours. They can't do anything about it. There's no trade windows, so you can't. There's no safe environment for saying
they can't make off with it. Yeah.
So if you want to trade something, you just drop it on the floor and they take it.
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and it's quite. They're expecting you to play with people you trust.
Because there's no auction house in the Xbox 360 version either, is there?
No, there's no real money auction house like there is in PC, and there's no gold auction house either.
It's
kind of interesting that they dropped that. I mean, given that now, obviously, everyone's talking about free-to-play on console, you'd have thought it would be a more tolerant environment for them to continue with it.
I'm not sure how an auction house or that level of transaction between player to player, I don't think Xbox Live's really equipped for that at the minute, is it? Maybe we can look forward to Blizzard monetising our loot in the next generation.
Never happen. You seem to be beating up an awful lot of trees here.
Yeah, the trees are turning against us here.
This always happens in the end, really, doesn't it?
That's it, and there you
never trust the trees. Oh,
and you've just
you've just died.
Really? Oh, that's me. I've just done that thing where I'm on the side of the screen again.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Lovely.
Well, that's very handy.
Yeah.
It's a complete incompetent like me, and I like this whole no penalty for death thing.
Ding. Also, the other thing about loot is that it's been tweaked so that the rarer drops are less rare. So because I managed to play twice through the entirety of Diablo 3 on PC and not get one legendary drop. And it was halfway through my 3rd playthrough is when I thought, do you know what? I'm actually bored of this.
It's just not worth it for a glint of orange.
Yeah, that's it. I wasn't bored of the game. I was just feeling completely unrewarded by it. And there's loads of yellow drops in this. I haven't seen an orange yet, but this is a 15-minute demo, so I wasn't. Yeah,
I was going to say this is all like I'm looking at you with awe at this. What it seems to be a massive, turn of events that you can get orange things when you couldn't before.
Edwin, are you being sarcastic about my love of high-level loot?
I'm introducing the perspective of a sarcastic person.
Okay, we've got
Anyway,
a named boss, a named mob.
We've got a yellow boss here.
it's called the Murderer.
Rob,
Seems a bit presumptuous, really. I'd like to see him do some murdering before I take that on the...
Yeah,
those
those bosses are, when you get those yellow bosses, they tend to have a number of randomly chosen special attributes. Like he was a mortar, so he lobs the massive things, and there's other things like chains, where you get 3 of them connected by damaging chains. And there's just a whole list of those ones that sort of like, when you get to the hard levels, they get 4 or so of those powers, all randomly chosen. There are some absolutely rock hard combinations of things that will just, you'll just deflate when you see it.
And in addition to that, the more players you have, the more difficult the game is as well. The enemies kind of scale depending on how many players you've got.
Have you guys noticed any like particular skills or enemies that have been nerfed or boosted or?
Well, funny you mentioned that. This pygmy guy,
Yeah.
his behaviour has been changed apparently. Not so he's tougher or stronger, but he's been designed to run away through crowds of monsters. So
lead us on a wild goose chase.
And no mistake.
Yeah.
Choo choo! Look at us all go.
Listen to that wild goose. Choo choo! Yeah, he's not actually doing it now, but I was told by a guy from Blizzard that he would be a little bit more mischievous in where he takes you. So, like, once you've killed him, you can't just run in and get the loot. You'll probably have 20 or 30 goat warriors to have to kill first.
It's because we killed them all.
Yep.
There's nobody left. Look at us.
That's efficiency, isn't it?
Yeah. I did love in playing Diablo before, just uncovering the map, just looking at trying out the right roll.
Watching the little maps slowly, sort of like
it's one of my favourite parts.
It's like smoothing out one of the old foil Kit Kat wrappers.
it's just therapeutic, and you don't know why.
I can see that you had a bit of a, you've got a quite deprived sense of risk and reward. I can see orange things and Kit Kat wrappers, and
Whatever
I'm sure
makes
you
us
could aim
happy.
higher.
I'm sorry, I'm not constantly bungee jumping.
We've got more of
Well,
the
you're in a
goat
dungeon
plan.
now, though, so that's
Yes, I
really a
mean,
step up.
it's not just the loot and the bosses that are randomised. The layout of dungeons and the location of places on the world map also randomised as well. So
Keeps things interesting.
yeah.
Is there any kind of like, do you think they'd think about doing some sort of level editor on the Xbox 360? I don't know if there's a PC one or anything like that.
Well, I don't know if the idea of a level editor with randomly generated levels seems like they'd be undermining their randomly generated
Yeah.
They
things.
could do like a share,
Bloat gut.
yeah, point taken.
Yeah, you can take the piss out of my risk and reward.
I'm really happy I'm
be a
sitting
barrier
between you
between
two
us.
right now.
Yeah.
I've never been more annoyed and attracted.
It's all this goat impaling we're doing.
Yeah.
It's getting the blood up,
Sets the
clearly.
mood, doesn't it?
Yes, chest. And then we're all... it's
Oh,
a bit of
white
a-
garbage.
6 grips.
We didn't even bother to pick it up. Whatever.
That's it. It didn't see much grey loot. Apparently, there's no grey loot,
Oh,
or
really?
so much less grey loot. Even though it just means white loot is the new grey loot. So
It's
you
a
can't.
bit pointless, really.
So grey loot is the most common and least wanted.
It's basically just trash.
Yeah, trash you sell if you've got room in your backpack to hold it.
I'm glad that they've taken that out, just because I hate that old thing in RPGs where they're like, yeah, here's a bent piece of metal, which you might be able to sell for another piece of bent metal. And then you're like,
And you
"Oh."
find yourself picking them up, even if you just have no interest. Like, well, I may as well. It's going to lie there anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You've
it.
died again.
Maybe we're going to get a chance to talk about gems in the next video, I think.
Stay tuned.